Hey everybody, welcome to the November edition of the NeQter Labs Town Hall. We'll just give it another 1 or 2 minutes, let the last couple people trickle in before we start. All right, I think we'll get started. Once again, welcome to November edition of our Town Hall, brought to you by myself and Pat. We have a good agenda today. We're going to go through our latest update. Pat will touch on the upcoming CMMC deadline, and then we'll highlight an upcoming show. So, Pat, if you want to kick us off.
Yep. So still an upcoming update. It's shortly going to be coming out 224. There's a couple new things that we've added to it that I'll be going over, which will be exciting to show. And we'll just touch upon the CMMC phase rollout. I know I've been starting the past few of these with that, but I think everyone's kind of bored of that at this point. But we'll touch upon it. And then, as Corey mentioned, upcoming show that we have in next week, actually. So for 224, I have a couple slides that I'm going to go over, but I want to pull up the current iteration of the update just to get everyone's eyes on it, so you can see what to expect as the update is coming out. So uh, two key pieces is under the system section of the compliance tool, the policy tool in NeQter. We've now added system identification and environment. Um, Requirements is going to be where all of the existing controls, all 110 for CMMCL2, the current view is going to live. Um, so let me just pull that up just to show everyone what um, what we're doing here. So uh, when it comes to the updates to the compliance tool, I have a system security plan here, level 2. So, well, for starters, it's a little bit wider, and I'll show you why that is showing up on the screen. But the two new areas, we'll just go full screen for this. Up at the top here, we have identification. We click in there. You're going to be able to do a couple things here. You can have, of course, the same things as before, system name, but now we can have, there's ability to add in a system categorization, a system unique identifier, and then also to provide a general description or purpose of the system. These are going to show up at the front or the beginning of the SSP. Now I realize, let me go in here and edit the organization. So um, we can add now, oh, I think I removed that, but you can add logos. So let me see if I can find um, the NeQter logo real quick, just to add it in here. Um, there we go. We'll just add this one. So now that's been added, and this will now, of course, show in the tool and in the SSP. So we just edited and we added that. And you can also add stakeholders and roles. So this allows you to get descriptive, add different people who are responsible, their name and all their information. You can also add in different user roles or types, internal or external, whatever makes sense. And you can also provide a data summary, how CUI is stored and protected and disseminated through the system. Just an overall summary here of the system, and then you can also start to add in different CUI and their banner markings, just so you have all of this right at the front of your SSP, all listed out. Now, additionally, there's an environment area too, where this is really nice because it's going to be modular. There's a couple ones that we put in here. Just if you'd like, you can delete them, of course. So like system topology, system facility, hardware and software inventory is good to have. But it's going to be modular, so you can add different sections and attachments or artifacts for each section. So you can construct and move up or down the front sections or the starting sections of your system security plan. So that's what these two areas are going to allow you to do: the system identification and this new system environment area. And it's modular, and we can add and move around what we want to be showing at the top of the system security plan. So the area that we're used to is this area here. We click on access control, we get the fly out, and then we can click into this first control. So this is all the same here. But one of the things that we added is the ability to bulk edit controls. So if you need to change the review status of a series of controls, the implementation status of a series of controls, the owner of a series of controls, or the due date, we can do a bulk edit. So these are all things that I was showing kind of last month with this update. But the newest thing that we've added, which might change how you use the tool in general, because right now, of course, you go into each control one by one and you can edit and modify it. We have a new way of doing things. For right now, the placeholder is it's called rapid entry. So we could potentially have a poll here and see, is rapid entry a good name for that, or maybe navigator um, or something to that effect. So I'll show you what this looks like. So we click into rapid entry here, and it's going to have all of the controls listed out in a singular flow view, essentially. And what we can do is we can expand out each assessment objective, or we can go to the top where the controls listed out, and we can say, you know what, I want to expand all AOs underneath this control. And now we can come in here and we can edit and modify each thing. So just to show you an example, let me actually, and I click here, I can collapse that control. This header up at the top is going to show me a summary of this domain. So we can see the total number of requirements, how many are implemented, partially implemented, has an alternate implementation or not implemented, or which ones are planned. Are there any tasks? Are there any in progress? And how are my SPRS points for, as a kind of a bar graph here, for this domain? So if I go down to uh, awareness and training, header changes, all the details change. So if I expand this out and I start to go and change things, I can mark this as implemented. I can add a description here. And instead of, currently what we have is, saving in the area. This is going to allow you to change as many things as you want. And at the bottom here, it's going to queue the changes. And then we can review the changes, or we can just save them right here. So if I wanted to say, you know what, I have two changes pending, I haven't saved it yet, I can go and then do a bunch of other stuff, of course. I can go and change a couple other things if I want to. Now I have four changes. So if I click on review change, it's going to show me what's been changed. This to this to this, this value. And then I can say, you know what, actually, I don't want to change that. I'm going to remove that change from the queue. I can remove multiple changes from this change queue, or I can clear the queue, or I can save these changes. So then it's going to update and bring me back. Now, one of the things that this also does, I see that there's a couple questions, so I will get to those in just 1 second. Um, if I open up something here, and up at the top here, there's these buttons, just like we kind of have in the legacy or the existing section. So if I click on tasks, well, it's going to split screen me right here. So now I can go and I can see, okay, well, this is the control. Here are all the AOs and the tasks for each AO. Or maybe I want to view comments or artifacts or info. So it gives me a nice little split screen here that I can review for each one. And it's only showing me one because, of course, there's only a kind of a single summary for each control, and it scrolls with me. So there's we had a couple things that we were adding, and then we our team was very very dynamic, all sat together and said, well, what could we do a little bit differently, what could we do better? And then we came up with this. So this was just I think a brilliant idea by our team, and we're working it into this update. So couple questions or comments here. Um, when is this rolling out? So it's in testing right now. We're just finishing up some details on this. Um, we should be good for this to come out for this month. Um, I'm unsure of the specific date. I know that there's a couple things we're cleaning up with it, so should be seeing it, um, of course, by the time that I do the next town hall. This will goal is for this to be out, so should be shortly for this. So that was that first question by Ritesh. Thank you for that. Jeffrey added, said, it's a great question. Yep, since you're about to redo your assessment and compliance, yeah, well, this is going to be great for that, because of course there's the slower pacing for those who might not be, of course, as experienced with the CMMC, and that's a good pace to go one by one. This is definitely more for those of us who have seen it so much, we're going cross-eyed, and we can just bang this out, just go and add a bunch of changes all at once. um let's see, a couple other comments here from Mark. Domain browser might be a interesting name, or control browser or something like that. I always think of like Windows File Explorer. It's kind of an explorer in a way. um This is a neat update. I often get lost when I'm working on or updating the SSP. This seems like a good way to stay grounded. Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes you're clicking through. If we just go to the requirements just to revisit them. Um, and you're answering something in here, and then you move to the next one, and then you're like, wait a minute, what did I write in that last one? I'm going to copy some of that and add it in. Well, that's where this new section really comes into play, where stuff is side by side, and then of course summarized up at the top, so you can see actively as you complete things, your updated progress. um so another question here from Ritesh. What about artifacts? Well, artifacts are, of course, included um, already as an ability to add or update an artifact. So in this area here, if I expand out these assessment objectives and I click up at the top button here, artifacts, well, these artifacts I can upload and attach a file, or I can add an existing file that's already been in here. So that's where artifacts comes into play. So yeah, so you can also click and add artifacts one by one if you're in this area. There is, of course, the already existing artifacts area where you can bulk edit and elect which controls this artifact is attached to. So kind of two different ways of doing artifacts, either um, one by one, bulk, or in this area here, um, managing where they're attached. So yeah, so with artifacts, that's going to be something as well, where there was a request from certain users, of course, of say you upload a network topology. Well, you might want to overwrite or re-upload a new version. So right now you have to remove and then add a new one in the in this update. We have re-uploading over an existing artifact. So if it's attached to 20 controls, you can just re-upload a new version over that existing artifact. So that is also an enhancement that's being added in. um, so yeah, so artifacts all managed through here. So this is more for the well, all artifacts are listed out here, but this is for the control set, the requirements, but then also artifacts that you upload for the identification in the environment areas also are living in here. And then artifact re-uploads and changes do get tracked in the change log. So yeah, but really this kind of this rapid entry section is the I think this is going to be the probably one of the most popular areas of the tool. Just so you can also quickly eyeball up on the right here, if something, the status of something, if it has a response or doesn't have a response, with these little icons, these color coded icons. So, really great to eyeball or just go right into something or expand or collapse, add something in, and then save it in that queue, that save queue section that we have here. So those are the really the big enhancements when it comes to the compliance piece. So three new sections, and then some other tweaks and enhancements on this piece. So going back to yeah, so we talked about bulk editing. Um, we um, we talked about these other things here. Um, just want to move that down. So, yeah, bulk editing. So in the regular kind of requirements view, but then now also in that rapid entry view. Um, we talked about these two front sections and adding in information. And Oh, so there's a question. Let me just go back real quick. Um, oh yeah, so that's a good call out, Rich. So there's of course you clicking and editing and manipulating all of the different controls. But at the bottom here, there's a couple icons that kind of blend in a little bit. There's a pencil, and then there's this one that I clicked on. So this rapid filter. So this is going to sort of like in the other section, in the other requirements section, where you can kind of do that filtering view. Well, this will be much more dynamic because you can go, all right, well, let me add a couple filters, maybe by control, or by family, or by if it has a response, has tasks, has artifacts, or needs review. So um, I'll just mark needs review as a filter. So if I apply that, now I get a consolidated list here. Then I can expand out all of the AOs that needs review, and then go and visit those. So the filters, I have needs review checked off right now. If I go and I filter out further and I say, okay, well, what if it needs review but it's implemented? Well, it's going to come up empty because there's nothing that matches that criteria. So this is a nice kind of selector at the bottom right, a rapid filter to allow us to filter down the controls in this rapid entry view. Additionally, this little pencil icon is going to allow us to bulk, um, select objectives to edit. That much like the other view that we had, you can add multiple things. You can select what needs to be updated, and then you can queue those changes, and then ultimately save those changes once once they're queued. So yeah, so that's what these two little icons in the bottom are allowing us to do. um so just another way or another method to search and to pare down and to quickly find a control that you want to work on, and then go right in and work on it, and save it right from this view. So there's going to be, and again, kind of just to reiterate, um, this bulk edit right here. Also, when we click on bulk edit for this control, this control CUI flow 313, I click on the bulk edit, and it pulls up that little widget for me, and it adds all of those controls to bulk edit. I can, of course, just go and expand out, and maybe select and do each one, but the bulk edit will obviously be a little bit faster for me. So that's what that button does, bulk edit right next to all these others. When I click on all these others, it's going to open up that split screen view for me to view tasks, artifacts, comments, and info. So, if you're kind of split screening your NeQter right now, you won't need to, because this has a built-in kind of split screen capability with this viewer. So hopefully that answers those questions. But obviously can come back if anyone else has any other questions on this. But um, outside of the compliance tool enhancements, there are a couple um, enhancements that we've added into the user management. So that is going to be so a couple things. Um, Passwords, we're going to be able to update password security. You can update a password expiration period. You can turn it on and then choose the day count. You can choose minimum number of characters, and then also what makes up those characters: special character, lowercase, uppercase, number. And then you can also turn on password reuse policy. So you have a history built in to password reuse to prevent people from reusing passwords. Um, Additionally, you can also reset a password, which will send out an email to that. So you can reset the password, and you can also um, provide or create a temp password that you can copy or you can email to the user, and then upon login, they'll have to change their password into NeQter. So see that there's a question getting typed, so I'll wait before I move on from this update. But yeah, 224. There's a couple other things that I'll get to show you when the update comes out. But these are the big blockbuster changes um, with this update. So, all right, great. Yeah, lots of great improvements. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I think it will be very useful, and we've been trying to, of course, get feedback from different parties, different C3PAOs or consultants to make sure that what we're adding makes sense and is useful and adds in the content that people are looking for when it comes to reviewing a system security plan. So I just had the consolidated summary slide here because of course November 10th is coming up. Now, of course, the snag right now is with the government shutdown is KOs or contract officers who are going to be putting in the the clauses into certain contracts come November 10th. So we'll see when they do get written in. But with phase one, of course, it's the self uh, certification for level two. That's for all applicable contracts, and then there's will be certain designated ones that do, even though it's phase one, will get C3PAO required L2 certification. So you'll have to connect with the C3PAO and get that cert in hand. Um, and then as the years go on, it will be applicable to more and more. Also, contract awards and option periods. Um, as well as extensions of contracts. So as the years go on, more and more contracts, more and more stringent. L3 for certain people is going to be applied, and essentially as the years unfold from 25 to 26 to 27 to 28, it's just going to be more contracts will get requirements for L2 certified, and there will only be a little bit of a release valve for delaying inclusion of contract award to maybe delaying it to option period, but that's still it's a difference of like 90 or 180 days. So I know everyone's been getting informed on this, and I've been talking about it for a few months, so I don't want to of course bore anybody with this piece of information, but of course if this is new to anyone, um, you know, please feel free to ask any questions because right now I think as well there's a hold up with C3PAOs getting their status, waiting on the final piece to get added to the marketplace. So there's still 83 C3PAOs. I just checked today in the AB marketplace, but I know that there are some that are queued up that will be getting their status, depending on the government opening back up. But again, a lot of people are booked already in through to early 2026. So if you need any help or you want any kind of matchmaking or you want just to vet C3PAOs or ask us our opinion or who we trust or who we work with, feel free to reach out. So I'll just hand this back to Corey to talk about this last piece.
Awesome. So we're going to be heading to North Carolina next week, Charlotte, North Carolina, for the Modern Machine Shops Top Shops 2025 event. This is going to be an event for manufacturers just to find different vendors and technologies, and we'll be at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Pat and Rich will be there, and if you guys don't know Rich grew up at a racetrack, so if you see him away from the booth, maybe on a guided tour of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, just don't ask any questions, just leave him alone, leave him to his devices. Yeah, hopefully we'll see some of you there. Awesome. And if anybody has any questions just about what we talked about, you can put them in the chat.
Yeah, was there anything that you wanted to mention as well, Corey?
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting much for questions, but just going to plug our LinkedIn. If any of you aren't following us on LinkedIn, I'll put that in the chat. And then we've recently released some pretty good blog content, and we'll be releasing more soon. So if you guys want to stay up to date on all things CMMC and cybersecurity, definitely check out our blog as well. Put that in the chat too.
Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, I think we'll give it a second. But it looks like we answered all the questions. Yeah, have some good updates coming out. So we're looking to get those enhancements to you guys shortly. Thanks, Mark. But yeah, Corey, I think we can probably close out unless we see any last.
Yeah, I think we're good. Thanks, everybody. See you next month.